Episode 1. Reunion. My name is Mary Johnson. I live in a small town in Ohio, in the American Midwest, and I'm an ordinary housewife. I'm 47 years old. Both of my children have already gone off to college, and it's been a while since it was just my husband and me again. My husband, Bill, is 50 years old and works as a technician at a local auto parts factory. He is meticulous and serious, always facing both his job and our family with sincerity. We met in high school and got married right after graduating from college. Bill has always supported me. When our children were born, he made every effort to balance work and family. We've spent 25 peaceful years together, but recently, I've started finding that tranquility a bit boring. Since the children left home, the house has been quiet, and conversations with my husband have become less frequent. Bill leaves for work at the same time every day and comes home at the same time. I was also busy with housework, but once that settled down, I found myself with a lot of free time. During those moments, I often found myself reminiscing about the past. One afternoon, I decided to visit the local farmer's market for the first time in a while. The market, full of fresh vegetables and fruits, was always bustling with life. As I was picking out tomatoes, I suddenly saw a familiar face. It was Jack Smith, a friend from high school. "Jack." My voice made him turn around in surprise. "Mary, it's been a long time." He approached me with a smile. His bright eyes, unchanged from the past, and his face, now with a few more wrinkles, brought back fond memories. Jack, who was my classmate, runs a farm locally. I had heard rumors that he was divorced and living alone. We were delighted to see each other again and started talking about old times. "We've both aged quite a bit," Jack said with a laugh. "But it's great to see you again." We talked for a while and exchanged contact information. Along with the joy of our reunion, I felt a warm sensation spreading inside me. That day, I felt unusually lighthearted, and my steps home were lighter as well. That evening, while preparing dinner, I found myself thinking about Jack. Our reunion felt special. In the quiet house, the conversation with Jack kept resonating in my mind. When Bill came home and we had dinner together, part of me was still savoring the reunion with Jack. That smile from that day seemed like it might be a turning point. That premonition quietly began to ignite in the depths of my heart. A few days later, I received a message from Jack inviting me to dinner. Despite feeling a bit hesitant, I decided to accept. That evening, I told Bill I was meeting a friend and left the house. When I arrived at Jack's farm, he had prepared a meal with his own produce. "It's nostalgic, meeting like this again," Jack said as he poured some wine. "Really? It brings back memories of high school," I responded with a smile. "Do you remember that time at the school dance when you fell, and I helped you up?" "Of course, I remember. I also remember everyone teasing me afterwards. But I felt really saved when you reached out to help me." "I'm glad to hear that. Those were fun times," Jack said, reminiscing with a distant look in his eyes. "Yeah. Back then, everything was new, and the future was full of dreams," I said, feeling vivid memories of the past flooding back. "True. But even now isn't bad. After all, we've met again," Jack smiled, raising his glass. "To our reunion." "Cheers," I said, raising my glass and celebrating our reunion with Jack. We continued to talk while eating. Jack shared stories about his farm and how he managed to maintain it, which I found quite interesting. His life seemed simple yet fulfilling. "Listening to you reminds me of the old Mary. You were so full of life back then. I still want to be like that, but it's easy to lose myself in the daily grind." "That's true for everyone. But maybe, just maybe, you can find something new now." Jack's words filled me with a sense of new hope. Our reunion might just bring a fresh breeze into my life. That thought began to grow in my heart. When I got home, Bill was already asleep. I quietly entered the room and lay down on the bed, but thoughts of my time with Jack wouldn't leave my mind. His voice and smile continued to warm my heart. The next morning, as Mary had breakfast with Bill, she couldn't help but remember her reunion with Jack. His presence felt like it was bringing something new into her life. She had promised to meet Jack again the following weekend, and her heart was filled with anticipation for that day. To be continued in episode 2.